Hi there YouTube, thank you for joining me again. Today I am at Belvoir Forest and it looks to be, let me just scan around so you can see the car park behind me. There you go. It looks to be completely deserted. Only my car is in it. So here I am. Now what I'm doing today is I'm continuing with my recent theme of revisiting locations that I've been to before in the hope of getting better images than I've done in the past. I've been looking through a lot of my old images and realising that, you know, maybe I could have done better. And as it turns out, I certainly could have. So here I am. Let's have a look what we've got here. So Belvoir Forest is basically a plantation forest. It's all sort of coniferous pine trees, the majority of them are. So a lot of it's quite uniform and most of the trees look pretty much the same, which makes it difficult. You know, you go to a sort of ancient oak forest and it doesn't take long to find a really nice twisty tree with lots of texture and interesting stuff going on with it, and frame up a composition and get a photo. But in a plantation forest like this, commercial forest, it's not so easy. At least I don't find it so easy anyway. So I'm probably going to be doing a lot more looking around than I am actually taking photos. Right, so I think I might well have found something to photograph here. What I've got is on the right hand side I've got 4 pine trees, big huge pine trees as well, and then further into the frame I've got one on the left, and then there's a path that leads through the middle, which you can see the huge base and roots of the beginnings of the roots of the trees sort of into the path. And then in the background we've got a wall that runs along with some different trees growing out of the wall in the distance. So hopefully this is going to make a good photo. Let's set up and see. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through the composition and my settings here. So on the right of the frame, we've got this big pine tree here with the roots and everything. And then we've got 3 more trees that kind of lead into the middle of the frame. We've got the footpath that leads through the middle. And then up on the left here, we've got another tree there. And then straight through the middle, if I just position my focus square there and zoom in, you can see that we've got that scene that leads straight through the middle. If you've watched my vlogs before, you'll know that my approach to woodland photography is always try and get something that frames up your shot. Use the trees to frame your image. So yeah, that's the composition. Settings, let's have a look here. So we've got F11, ISO 50. Hang on, let me just put the info on there. So we've got F11, ISO 50, 1/5 of a second, and I'm underexposed by just over a stop there. So I'm just going to take that image, and there we go. So what I did here is I turned the camera over so that it was in portrait mode, and then I zoomed in on the composition, and this was the resulting image that I got, which I thought was quite pleasing. Right, so I've found a pretty well-worn path. Excuse me, branch stuck in my face. Yeah, I found a pretty well-worn path leading through here that I've never been down before, and I think it's probably a pony track rather than a footpath, because it's very narrow and there's a lot of horse poo along it. But look at all these young coniferous trees that are sprouting up. One day they might be as big as some of these. Right, so I've explored that part of the forest over there. So now I'm going to head down towards the river. Now I've done vlogs from this river before, and I've photographed it a few times, but never anything that I would think that really jumps out and stands out. Now, that could well be lack of experience. So I'm going to go down there and have a look and see if I can get anything that's a bit better. So the water level here today is quite low, as you can see. I thought it might be higher than that because we've had a few rainy days recently, but yeah, it's pretty low. So this might be tricky. Always looks better when there's a bit more water and the water's kind of flowing over the rocks more, but it's not today. So who knows, we might not be able to find anything along the river worth photographing. So I'm going to go as far as this fence here. Can't be bothered to climb over it and try and wade through loads of reeds and stuff. That's terrible, isn't it, eh? Can't be bothered. Oh, what's he saying that? Can't be bothered. I can't though. Let's have a look down here. Now, nothing here. Look, you see where I am, look. Nothing here that jumps out and says, photograph me here at all. So I'm going to head up further up towards the bridge. I'm not going to photograph the bridge today. I've photographed it several times, and to be honest, it's a bit boring. So I'm not going to do that today. Okay, so what I'm trying to capture here is the kind of swirling patterns that the white foamy bubbles make on the water, along with the lines of the water as they pass through the rocks. And what I'm trying to do is get the right shutter speed to capture the patterns that they make. And I think I've got it at 2 seconds. Now I've got a polarizer on, and I've got a 6-stop ND filter on. Now, what that means is that at f11, that's giving me 20 seconds, which is way too long. The water just looks completely smooth. There's no pattern on it or anything. So it's kind of completely eliminated any kind of feel of any movement at all in the water. But at 2 seconds, it looks pretty good. Now what I've had to do is I've had to open my aperture right down to f4 in order to get 2 seconds. So if I now show you on the back of the camera exactly what that looks like. So I'm going to zoom in, and you can see there, let's just show you how I'm focusing. So absolutely pin sharp there. And so at 2 seconds at f4, are slightly underexposed, and I'm getting the nice swirly patterns in the water. Okay, so the image I'm trying to get right now is an image that I'm not even sure is going to actually work, to be honest. I'm trying to get the that old sort of footbridge over there. I think that's what it's called. It might not be. Might be called something completely different. But what I'm trying to get is the bridge with the reflection in the water. It's not the main bridge, by the way. You know, I said earlier I wasn't going to photograph the bridge. It's not the main bridge. It's part of the old footbridge that's all kind of collapsed now, but there's still parts of it left. So that's what I'm trying to do. Now let me just turn the camera slightly. So I've got the 70 to, hang on a moment. Noisy person on a quad bike. So I've got the 70 to 300 on, and I'm zoomed in at 200 mil at the moment. I'm at f5. This is what my composition actually looks like. So you can see there how it's reflecting in the water. Now, I don't know if this image is going to work or not. It might be rubbish. I'm going to show it anyway. If anybody wants a really good telephoto on a budget, I'd highly recommend this one. You can get really nice super sharp pictures with it. It's got image stabilization as well. The autofocus works really well. Anyway, let's just try that, shall we? So that was at 4 seconds. Now remember, when you're doing long exposures with any camera lens, make sure you turn off your autofocus and your image stabilization, because what happens is it tries to hunt for focus and it tries to stabilize. With it being on a tripod, that then makes the camera move, so you end up with a blurred image. So now I'm trying it at 2.5 seconds because, as you know, I like to underexpose stuff. I don't know about that. I don't know whether it's going to work or not. Give me a minute. I'm going to try and refine this composition and see if I can get something a bit better. But it's reflections that I'm looking for. Right, it's started to rain a little bit now, and I'm getting hungry as well. So I'm going to head back to the car and I'm going to go home. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the images. Please leave a like and a subscribe, and go ahead and leave some comments as well. Always appreciate that. Always nice to get some feedback. My next video, I'm going to be going out with another local photographer whose work I really admire, and I've never met him in person, but I've seen quite a lot of his videos, and he's an amazing photographer. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you who it is. You're going to have to tune in next time and find out. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.